For those of you who haven't been there, let me begin by telling you about my country, the Philippines, with this video.
It's more fun. Philippine Islands. It's more fun in the Philippines. It's more fun in the Philippines. Philippine Islands. It's more fun in the Philippines.
It's more fun in the Philippines. And you're all invited to go. So now you see, earlier they said that our country is 10% Hollywood and 90% convent. But really, I think we're 90% Hollywood and 10% convent. The best asset of my country is its people. While the Philippines lacks robust industries, it is very rich in its 107 million population. 2 months ago, when the stock index dipped for 48 hours, the Philippines was not affected exactly for what it doesn't have. The median age for Filipinos is 23.5 years old for both male and female. That goes, sorry, I have to wear my glasses now. That goes to show we have young, able-bodied countrymen in the workforce. The Philippines is a melting pot of races which make Filipinos adaptable to work all over the world. We are land-based and sea-based workers. Remittances of overseas Filipino workers comprise 26.92 billion US dollars in 2014, or 10% of GDP, and 5.6 billion US dollars are contributed by seafarers. That just means every seafarer family in the ratings position has an average of 750 US dollars to spend every month. That is more than double the regular monthly minimum wage in the most expensive city in the Philippines. Seafarer families are materially rich. In an article from GMA News last September 12, 2015, households that rely on cash from migrant workers suffered the sharpest drop since 2010, as those favoring major purchases remained steady according to the Central Bank of the Philippines. This goes to show that Filipinos love to go shopping. It is this same money that affects a large part of seafarers' behavior and values, and what may divert their attention to what is truly meaningful. So let's picture Alden, a young seafarer who is single and sends his allotment to his mother, who manages the money for her son and household expenses. One day, Alden decides to get married and start a family. He has been on board a few times and has saved enough money to have a modest wedding. At this point, the transition from his status as a single man to a married man creates a wedge in his relationship with his parents. The benefits transfer from his natal parents to his wife. His parents, who feel they have the right to the money of their son, feel edged out because they now have to course their needs through their daughter-in-law. Soon after, Alden's wife needs to clear with her husband the system of providing financial support for his parents. The good life Alden provides his wife is expected to continue for his parents too, in the context of the biblical prescription to honor one's father and mother. As Alden's family grows and babies arrive, the demands on him increase, so he makes sure he always has a contract to board soon after his vacation ends. Meanwhile, his wife is left to manage at home. She artfully blends the demands of her new nuclear family, spanning the daily basic needs of food, shelter, education, household interactions, through to the complexities of dual extended family's expectations in regard to filial, marital, paternal attention, right to a share in Alden's salary and benefits, reciprocity, empathy, debt of gratitude, and similar Filipino socio-emotional demands. In a 2011 study conducted by Olivia Swift on Filipino seafarer families in the Philippines, she notes that respondents identified various configurations of their hierarchy of values. Happily, religion, Christianity in particular, followed by family, which comes as no surprise, dominated the choices. The other extreme values vary. Notwithstanding that money is a core consideration, but money cuts both ways. One, as an enabler of dreams, the currency for material markers of a seafarer playing the role of a provider, as well as number two, a bone of contention. As implied in the narration above, while money supports family, life, education, and meets other material needs, it is also a contentious issue in families and can be a source of social isolation among in-laws. This can manifest itself when needs are required to be coursed through to the wife. Parents feel they have the right to the money of the son, which has become the basis for the good life of the wife and children. Here is where positive values need to become more tangible as they erode the power of money over the family. While in a typical family, the presence of both parents is needed to give the perception of wholeness or the feeling of a happy family, a seafarer's family is compelled to be whole and happy despite the presence of only one parent. Let's hear it ourselves from a child of a seafarer. Here's Charisma Gradonia, 30 years old and daughter of a chief cook. In the first video, Charisma talks about her family's typical day when her dad is not around and at work on board the ship. In the next segment,
In the absence of my father, who's a seafarer, my mom becomes both a decision maker and homemaker at home. Uh, Communication is made easy through the internet now because many vessels have free internet 24/7. We raise our concerns and issues with our father, decide things together with him through social media like Viber and Facebook Messenger, um, family issues, uh, financial issues, health issues are being raised and being decided using those social media. And he always never forgets to remind us to always love one another, be good with one another, and take care of our mom who's left here alone without him to take care of us and decide things without him.
In the next segment, Charisma describes her family interaction when her dad is with them. And notice her expression when she talks about her dad being with them.
Whenever my father is at home here with us, having his vacation, he is the one who cooks and prepares breakfast for us, especially during weekends. During weekends, we eat together because it's a no school and no work day. It is during this time where we raise our concerns, we talk about our issues, we discuss things as a family, and since my father is on vacation, uh, he reports to the office from time to time, and every time he reports to the office, he brings my mother along with him. Wherever my father goes, my mother goes with him. And wherever my mother goes, my father goes with him. They both go together wherever it is they're going. And since singing is his favorite recreation, we let him sing to his heart's content, and he will always remind us to always take care of ourselves and continue to be a good son and good brother or sister to each other.
So we just heard Charisma say that internet technology plays a big role in their communication as a family. Luckily, ships nowadays have 24/7 connectivity, but I'm not so sure. Yeah. For Charisma and children of seafarers like her, wholeness takes two realities: virtual wholeness and natural wholeness. Her father's recurring message to the family members, whether or not he's away or with them on shore leave, is that they take care and watch out for one another. Another daughter of a seafarer shared three notable insights on her studies. She's currently taking her doctorals on seafarer families at a university in Asia, and these are what she has found out. What seafarers spend on are education, 18th birthdays, house, car, and the latest gadgets serve as physical representation for the absence. It doesn't help that we live in a pervasive environment of consumerism. She also noted an insight that has to do with the art of waiting. For the husband, allotment decisions, and the art of balancing the presence of the seafarer. So basically, what they're saying here is, what she was noting here was that you learn to practice the art of waiting, waiting for decisions, waiting for things to happen. You talk about it on while you're on your husband's on board. You discuss issues about the children, but then the action has to wait while you're together, or while you're on land, the seafarer also waits. You wait for your next contract, you wait for your next schedule for your training. So the art of waiting becomes a, uh, uh, a way of life. It becomes something that's with you all the time. And of course, the reintegration challenges, catching up and dealing with the struggle of dependence because wives are not aware of their independence while their husbands are away. But I'd like to point out this might be a Filipino nuance because independence uh, in maybe the Western world is like you know you're independent, well, but in the Philippines, you're not so sure if you're independent in that sense. Um, And this may be the basis for a 30-year-old study which calls seafarer wives as domestic diplomats. So the stories above tell us about the seafaring context that brought about GASFI. So GASFI is the acronym for GIG and the Amazing Sampaguita Foundation. And it was a blessing. Well, blessing of, in a way, it was a blessing. I didn't know that GIG was an acronym for God is Good until his friends, who were also members of Youth for Christ, upon his death, wrote on all the walls of the in the wake at the wake his name in big bold letters, and they wrote God is Good. And so that's gig for you. GASFI was founded on the first anniversary after I lost my son, Gig. Previous to that, we were populating a library of a seafarer community by asking friends and relatives to share their old books. To memorialize Gig through a foundation, we wanted to continue work beyond the book donor program, but it needed to be something familiar, something that we did together, something that was practiced at home, in our own homes, in my own home, and that was reading at bedtime. Soon after, more books came, and read aloud became a principal activity. Reading to your child is such an enriching experience. I wanted to share that with others, initially with the people closest to me, the seafarers and families whom I've known since birth. Reading with your child is both easy and beneficial. We came up with a vision to help promote well-bonded relationships within and among seafarer families through reading habits. And how to do that? GASFI was founded on one simple message. It's something that's so doable that it can be done at home every day. Read with your child 20 minutes at bedtime. We've come a long way since 2009. GASFI units are present in 9 provinces all over the Philippines, in seafarer hospitals, schools, and communities. Our volunteers around the country pair read-alouds with medical missions, feeding programs, and distribution of books and school supplies. They also do something like the circumcision, medical circumcision. They give the book to the kid, and he gets relaxed. He, he yeah, it's not so scary anymore. So, so yeah, the read aloud has gone far and wide. Sometimes we just get reports that they do read alouds and pair them with the other activities that they do. Okay, and the table here shows that the number of our book donors from 2009 to 2015. It shows the number of book donors. It shows that the most frequent book donors came from friends and family, 14 from Seafarer Connections, and there. Actually, we just started, before the foundation, we started, one Christmas, we just started texting all our friends from our contact list, asking them to please donate books to the Seafarer Community Library. And people just started giving the books to the community, and then we were able to put up a bigger library. We have a total of, we pair our read-alouds with introduction of GASFI, book donations, medical or dental missions, outreaches, or film showings. And as you can see, we've donated books 157 times throughout those provinces. A total of 264. Here we have the Daan Bantayan Learning Space. Roger was there with us in November 2014. It was a dream. It was a Haiyan response, right? Response to the typhoon. And so here you are, and here are
Good evening,
our
everyone.
Junary, the Cebu people talking about the space.
I am Jay. I'm the GASFI Regional Director in Visayas. And to my left, this is Pipay, our GASFI Coordinator, and Miss Junary, the one managing GASFI Danbantayan. Hi, Junary. How are the kids in Danbantayan doing?
On school days, there are about 30 to 60 pupils who visit and read books. Sometimes, teachers allow pupils to do schoolwork there. Not only that, children from other schools and communities spend time there too. The children surely are lucky that GASFI has given them a good place and learning materials. I and our community is very grateful to Iswan and Mr. Roger Harris for the help extended. This means a lot to all of us.
And Miss Pipay, what were the activities we had a few months ago?
For last year, we had a lot of activities. We went to Dan Bantayan to extend our time and to be with the children more and to maximize our children's space. As for here in the city and in the entire Cebu province, during the opening of classes, we were able to give out school materials. We had partnered with another company and we read stories to some children and gave them books that they could take home. And here in our facility, we also encourage parents to bring their children here, spend time, quality time, so that they can read with their children. And we encourage them to read to their children at bedtime, at least 20 minutes, for them to be able to spend time together and for their children to love to read.
Okay, that would be very nice.
All right. So in the Daan Bantayan space, the Haiyan response, where Iswan helped GASFI, 30 to 60, Junary said that 30 to 60 pupils visit the learning space on school days. Teachers allow students to do schoolwork at the space as opposed to just in the classroom. The children from other schools also visit because remember, in this town, they're probably the only ones who have a children's space that looks like that. And then they were saying that the children are lucky to have the materials and are grateful to Iswan. Whereas in the city, they said that they've partnered with a company and parents are encouraged to read with their children and they want to develop special bonds with children and parents. And they want also to, doing these activities, they foster the love for reading among the children. And at the Iswan learning space, we have put there the marker which will be placed in all children's spaces, where children flourish with seafarers, families, and communities. With seafarers, families, and communities. In community with seafarers and families, where children flourish in community with seafarers and families. As children flourish, so do families. The GASFI advocacy offers a universal message beyond seafaring families. What GASFI does and continues to do manages to connect families in a simple yet compelling manner. Indeed, seafaring families also contribute to a vital sector in nation building. While initially seafaring families were envisioned to be known and recognized widely, the dream has evolved as a need for them to be a powerful partner in nation building. On a side note, throughout the years that GASFI took a lead role in its reading advocacy from 2009 to 2014, it has actively involved volunteers and scholars, including cadets from the Maritime Academy of Asia and the Pacific and other schools. One thing that pleasantly surprised our team was the emergence of leaders among the maritime cadets who take the reading initiatives to their own communities all over the country. We were also told by faculty that GASFI events naturally attract purposeful cadets. And these purposeful cadets, young men and young women, will bring this advocacy of bonds of literacy and spending quality time with children, giving them the values throughout their own parenthood in the future. I'm also happy to share with you that GASFI has a 5-year roadmap, the broad goal of which is to forge a more solid relation with seafarers and their families. That entails a shift from the material motivations of their work to more lasting and life-enriching and uplifting values. That is a theme that aligns with NAMMA's advocacy, whose mission is to provide a framework to support and assist port chaplains and others in their ministry to the spiritual, moral, human rights, and physical concerns of mariners and all others in the maritime community. Please allow me to discuss the 3 primary components of this vision. GASFI books. How do we even begin to encourage reading in families without content about our own stories? Thus began the idea for children's books to better understand ourselves. These are values-laden stories that resonate with mariners and their relationships with families. These books enrich intimacy of parents and their children through the 20 Minutes at Bedtime campaign. We need more stories, this time from worldwide writers. The books are also envisioned to grow into a video series with study guides for counselors, teachers, and parents. The project entails development of GASFI learning resource materials that could be added to port libraries for use by chaplains in ministering to mariners. GASFI has 20 book titles, 14 so far have been published. And the books are outside if you want to take them. We have done 2 publication phases, and we are onward to our 3rd round for the writers, the writing contest for the gig books. And you're all invited to join. Please tell everyone who wants to just log on to gigbookcontest.blogspot.com, and the contest rules are there. Let me give you some more details. So we are now on a fresh call for more stories, which are designed to build on the earlier sets of stories. Running parallel to that call for more writers is a project to develop teachers' parents' guides for counselors as partners in values education in support of the Philippine Ministry of Education. One model we are considering is to provide an open course resource version which uses a blend of content and relevant learning activities that GASFI could share in collaboration with educational networks such as the ASEAN Cyber University, etc. To expand the richness of GASFI content, we hope to run a video series production that is wrapped around the books. Presently, the videos are being considered to be produced in partnership with award-winning directors locally. For example, GASFI is in talks with a Filipino third mate who is also building a career as a videographer, has just been awarded a small grant via Cine Filipino Festival to produce a film about Filipino seafarers based on its personal documentary of his experience at sea. Number 2, building a children's space in all seafarers' communities. How does this work? We involve parents and family as values education partners in support of the Philippine Ministry of Education. Using a collaborative learning activity framework, a learning space serves as a model wherein GASFI books are used in reading and related enrichment activities in a school building supported by the ISWAN or others. Number 3, NAMMA to be a partner for global GASFI in places like Canada and other ports. We envision a global GASFI by sharing with the broader audience the GASFI narrative of a compassionately co-creative experience at seafarer children's spaces to further enhance family values enabled meaningfully by internet connectivity. GASFI design for change through learning spaces as models, share with the global audience the GASFI narrative, Seafarer Children's Center or corners to further connect with families, customize values according to diverse local cultures. As you can imagine, with the earlier narrative around money, we hope that with a global GASFI, NAMMA pastoral care activities can more contextually weave spiritual support around the issues of material markers in the lives of seafarers and families. And just to wrap up, I'm sure some of you or all of you are familiar with the 90% of everything is shipping. We believe that. We know that approximately 90% of the entire world's trade occurs by the sea. We also are keenly aware that 1/3 of seafarers are Filipinos. In Rose George's book, 90% of Everything, she talks about the connection of shipping in our daily lives. I dare to say that if 90% of our lives is affected by shipping and the values that propel this industry, then those same values should permeate our everyday: tenacity, excellence, integrity, nationalism, honesty, gratitude, compassion, service, and so forth. The men and women who move those ships leave loved ones behind. Despite the absence, their families keep those crew inspired and driven to make a positive difference to the global economy. As narrated above, money can either uplift or weigh down. But with GASFI's projects, we hope to be of better service to seafarers and their families through your deeply meaningful initiatives. Originally, GASFI set out to see more seafarer families getting more time to bond, to have access to more material for those moments. Now, GASFI wants to see more families of the world experiencing the values in a more positively viral way across 90% of the world. Through GASFI's projects, we bring the hopes and dreams of families of seafarers to this event, an appreciation of the individuals and values that drive this community. We have 3 dreams to share with you today. That seafarer families be shining examples of tenacity, integrity, and excellence, to better ourselves in order to serve others better. We hope that families also become true heroes of all merchant mariners. Help us continue making a difference. To God be the glory.